Thursday night footy, we got the 15,000 guaranteed Titans v West Tigers matchup here. Very, very interesting game. We're not exactly sure who's going to come out and absolutely dominate this game. You'd probably think the Titans have the slight edge here. Yes, they are definitely favourites to win this one, but they had a great start last week and really lost it in the second half. So there's an opportunity for that to happen again. So a few of the selections are going to be based around that. And then a few of the guys that I think are going to be fairly consistent. So in our outside backs, I think there's probably only 4 guys to think about in this game. First one would be Greg Marzhew at that more expensive price, but I'm probably going to leave him out of my teams, for example, at that 13,220. Coming off a bit of a low score last week and a low one in the first one, he has an opportunity to be that boom or bust player. But I think I can get a little bit more value out of Corey Thompson, who's playing his first game of the year. He's someone who's really, really busy. He's someone that can, run for 200 meters, get you sort of that 7 to 8 tackle breaks and the odd try. And, at worst, get you that 30-odd score, and at best, get you that 60. So I think Corey at the $1,000 cheaper would be a really, really good option. People like Nofaluma and Dane Laurie are probably guys I'd leave out at this point, just with, I think, Titans being able to play a little bit better in this game. Germain Osako is the next guy I think who's going to do really, really well. In his first game for the Titans, he's moving into the fullback position. So again, fullbacks is if we think Titans are going to win this game, he should be in the thick of everything. And he's got his 28 score for the Broncos in his one game in the first game of the season. So I think at worst he can get that and has that opportunity to get some assists and tries himself in his first game for the Titans. He'll want to come out and play really well. We don't see Stafford Toa playing this week, so leave him out of your squads. And just our last one, guys, Olivier Gildar has actually played really well in his first 3 games for the Tigers, coming over from England. And I think he has that opportunity to score somewhere between that 30 and 50 again, especially if the Tigers can score a few points. I think Oliver's going to be in the thick of that. So that's that on the outside backs. I hope you hope you learned something from that. In terms of our halves and our hookers, probably only a few guys to select in this one for me. Toby Sexton comes in at a nice expensive price just because there's only one game this week and there's not a lot of superstar options. So Toby, I think, has the opportunity to score somewhere in the 55 to 70 range in this game. He's got a 44, a 56, and also a 61. So somewhere up there, I think would be really, really fair and score to predict in this game for Toby being able to do everything. And if they win comfortably in this match, I think he's going to do well. Guys like Brooks, I think, is going to be solid on the other side. He's someone that's fairly consistent, with that 33 being his low and a 57 being his high. I think somewhere between that 47 and 57 this week would be a pretty safe score for him to pick up. With the Titans, a team that let in a few tries, definitely. So that's that with Brooksy. And then, Brimson's come in with a nice, solid couple of scores since he's, started in the 6th position. He'll be consistent, but I think he could get a little bit more value out of Jock Madden, who came in with a 48.4 in his first game without doing anything spectacular. I think he has the opportunity again at that 10,000 price to be a cheaper option who could do really well. So, a mixture between those 4 guys I think would be ideal. Whether you want to go Toby here and then Madden in the flex, I think could be a solid option. Or you could go the Brooks and Brimson combo. Anything of those 4 I think would be a decent option for your side. And we'll move to the forwards, and just a couple of guys here that I think could be good. If you want to spend up and think Fafita could dominate the Tigers finally, then he could be a guy that you could pick. He hasn't played too well so far, hasn't run the ball a lot. And when he does, he ends up making a line break or doing something good. So I think he's someone that could get a 70 to 100 this week, but he could also get somewhere around that 40 to 50 again. And if you pick him up and he scores somewhere there, you're probably not going to go as well this week in Draftstars, but has that opportunity to come out and dominate for you. If you want to go a little bit lighter, I'd potentially go for someone like Tino, who's come out and done really well since moving into captaincy. And last week with his best score with the 65, but you're gonna see somewhere between that 43 to 65 for Tino. And Beau Fermor has come out and absolutely dominated the last few weeks, and his price now goes up. So Draftstars have noticed this, and he commands a higher salary than the 13,500 that he got last week. So if he comes out and plays as well as he has the last few weeks, and he's obviously definitely undervalued if he can get somewhere in the 60, but he is someone that I think can potentially drop down in his point scoring over the next week or two, just because he's had, last week was a try and a try assist, the week before was a try. So will he drop down a little bit? That is a chance for sure. Guys like Tamau and Offengawi, two guys that have obviously done well last week with the 52 for James with the try. I doubt he'll get that again. So just think somewhere between the 35 to 40 for him at max, in that limited minutes role that he got last week. Probably do that again without the try. With Joe, he's coming off he's got two really good games. One the first game with 48 and one with 62. So if you think he's going to play big minutes again and get somewhere around that 40 to 50, in the points mark, you're definitely undervalued by picking him up. So keep that in mind with Joe. And then anyone down below, you've got Kelma Tuolangi as well, just to finish it off here at 11,500. He came out and scored pretty well first game with 40 points and then a 16 in his second game before missing last week, unfortunately, with the head knock. So he could come back and get anywhere between 50 to 70 minutes, I'd say. And if he's someone who has the potential to score a try, so he's going to be a little bit more boom or bust for you if you wanted to go for that type of player at 11,500. So that's sort of the group of 4 or 5 that I'd be looking to pick. You got Tyrone Peachy as well, that probably a little bit more boom or bust also. You can see a 50, a 41, and then a 16. So he's someone at 12,300 that you could also select. So a mixture of those sort of 5 to 6 guys I think would do pretty well in your squad. You've obviously got Mo Fodawaker as well, who's had that one big score, but I think he's a little bit more risky at that almost 17,000 price point. But there you go, guys. That's the $15,000 prize pool between the Titans and the Tigers. I hope you enjoyed this game and you play well. Obviously, you can select multiple teams like we spoke about, 40 per person. And good luck tonight. I hope you do well, and we'll see you in the next video, guys. Have a good one.